Kyiv high school students lay flowers at a monument in Babyn Yar. They're being shown around the site of one of the worst crimes committed by the Nazis during World War II. On the 29th of September 1941, the Jews of Kyiv were ordered to gather on a specific street corner at 8 a.m., ostensibly for deportation. The guide reads out a copy of the instructions.
All should bring with them their documents, money, underclothes and other things. Anyone who does not obey this order will be shot.
In fact, they were all to be shot. Nearly 34,000 of them in 2 days.
In Kiev, there was no ghetto. Here, there was Holocaust by bullets. And then, over many years, another crime was committed. The crime of silence.
The Soviets suppressed the memory, but over the years various initiatives helped preserve it. Now, 80 years on, a concerted effort is being made to give the Holocaust by bullets its proper place in history. The Nazis shot more than 1 million Jews in Ukraine. Babyn Yar was the site of the largest and most symbolic of many massacres.
We're now going to visit the exact places where the shootings happened. In the last 2 years, researchers have been able to determine that location precisely. These big stones mark the spots.
Through spy holes in the stones, visitors can see photos of how the place used to look. A more traditional exhibition nearby perhaps gives a clearer picture. But the peepholes are in keeping with the Babyn Yar Holocaust Memorial Centre's ethos of innovation, which it plans to apply to a new full-scale high-tech museum whose visitors will have an immersive, interactive experience. It's the brainchild of filmmaker KHRZHANOVSKY, and it's not to everyone's liking.
In Claude Lanzmann's famous documentary about the Holocaust, Shoah, you don't hear a single scream nor a single shot. But it's all the more powerful for that. KHRZHANOVSKY takes the opposite approach.
Finberg and other Ukrainian intellectuals don't just object to KHRZHANOVSKY's vision. They object to the memorial's project on principle because much of its huge budget comes from Russian oligarchs.
They are puppets. They're carrying out the wishes of the Kremlin, and what the Kremlin wants to achieve here is to implant a Trojan horse in Ukraine. I can't see any other motive, especially if they aren't under the control of Ukrainian scholars. They'll paint a picture of Ukraine as the land of the Holocaust.
The suspicion is that Russians would seek to overemphasize the role of Ukrainian collaborators.
It does look like a typical office, but it's very convenient to work here.
KHRZHANOVSKY has commandeered 2 apartments in central Kyiv to house the memorial's offices and redecorated them with pre-war furniture, some of which he says will end up in the museum.
You need to understand what kind of atmosphere it was. And for now, everyone knows it, but in 50 years, it will be gone.
Except that barely anyone in 1930s Kyiv lived in such luxury. But KHRZHANOVSKY's operation is serious and is doing extensive research.
Бюджет дает возможность сделать из этой институции огромную международную институцию и с точки зрения в том числе научной и образовательной. Потому что этот бюджет позволил, например, нам отсканировать десятки архивов и миллионы документов.
Russian-born, but to a Ukrainian Jewish mother, he is fiercely defensive of both his position and his vision.
Моя мама относится к Holocaust-survival. Имею ли я право говорить про это? Имеет ли право этот проект быть международным? На мой взгляд, да. Считаю ли я, что эта история должна быть иммерсивной, интерактивной? Безусловно. Мы живем во времени, когда иммерсивное или интерактивное является такой же частью технологий, как мобильный телефон, как интернет. Мы не можем это отвергать.
Спасибо.
For the past 6 years, an annual memory march has retraced the steps taken by the Jews who gathered as instructed in September 1941. Entering the Babyn Yar Park, participants could hear the names of the dead being read out on loudspeakers. It's an installation by the Memorial Centre, which has also built a new synagogue shaped like a book, overlooking one arm of the ravine.
We survived, and we're here. And I almost forgot one more big thank you to the Babyn Yar Holocaust Memorial Center. You see how this space is already being transformed? The museum must be built.
He said that knowing that many of those present don't agree.
The project's backers have close relations with the political elite of a country that is an enemy of Ukraine. A direct enemy. Let's call a spade a spade.
The names of the dead, accompanied by religious music and prayer, also haunt the Mirror Field, another installation commissioned by the centre. The metal has been riddled with bullets of the same calibre the Nazis used. Is this an accurate or appropriate way to commemorate a tragedy? Debate rages. And if the aim was raising awareness, that is in itself a success.